Do you think that the church as a whole in America is getting this whole immigration into America thing correct?
Oh, wow. I think the church is completely splintered in their thought processes on it, in their perspectives.
Okay.
So I don't think there is like this one view of the church that the church has in America. I think that I think there's the one side again that's like all mercy. Okay, that's we need to welcome all. We don't need borders, and when they get here, we need to provide for their immediate needs of food and clothing and shelter. Okay. And we open up all of our public services to them, schools, hospitals, all that. So I think there's that's one side, and that's especially present in the justice movement of the church. That is
the social
justice. Yeah, the social justice movement of the church that sees people like, like we would be referred to as like colonizers, right? And therefore, and so because we make up the majority of this country, we're colonizers, all that stuff, we're actually the oppressors. The immigrants are all oppressed. We need to make sure that we allow the immigrants in, and that's doing the justice for them.
Okay.
So I think there's one side. I think there's the other side that's like, build a wall. Don't let anyone in ever. No more asylum. No more refugees. No more immigrants. If they can't speak English, they don't need to be here. Like, treat them less than
nothing
people. Yeah, like I think you have two extremes. And then I think there's just a lot of Christians, to be honest with you, that have no idea what to think about it.
I honestly didn't know what the Christian thing to think about this was before we started talking about it.
Yeah, and I'm not sure most Christians have thought about it through a Christian biblical worldview.
Yeah, I'd never done that.
I think most people look at it through just a political, lens of, hey, I'm a citizen of this country. What do I think we should do to handle this as a citizen of this country?
Okay.
And so and then again, I think you do have some that are like, hey, always got to love, always got to be merciful. And so I just, that's why I say, I think the church is probably very fractured over this issue. And I know the church is very fractured over this issue.
Well, it seems like the church shouldn't be fractured over this issue because less and less people are going inside church. So it seems like they should be pretty good at not letting people come inside our country.
Because they're not letting them inside their own churches?
Yeah.
Therefore, we shouldn't let them in the country?
Right.
Right.
If they had that same view with the border, then we'd be good. Or not good.
Or not good, whatever.
Depending on which...
however you think it should go. Yeah, and that's why I don't think we're handling it well. I do think there's the heavy mercy side, there's the heavy justice side, and I think somewhere in the middle of all that is the answer.
Cool opinions.
Yeah, man.
All right, well, let me just ask you then for a new question.
All right.
What's your opinion on America's southern border topic from a Christian
perspective,
Bible man perspective?
Okay. So I think that as a Christian, when I look at the southern border, it's just an absolute hot mess, right? I think we all acknowledge that, or we should at least. We should at least acknowledge that it's a hot mess. I do think the balance of mercy and justice is that there are those that actually do need to find a way to get into the country legally. And
because they're facing oppression,
oppression, they're facing famine, there's real issues. Okay.
And that happens everywhere, right?
What do you mean?
Like all over at least the Western countries, they let people in from famine and war and stuff.
Yeah, they're having to figure out how to do. Like Europe has been. I mean, they've had a huge immigration crisis,
right?
For I guess going on a decade now.
But before the crisis, they were all letting Ukraine people come in there because of the war and stuff like that.
Yeah. There's always been this. Yeah, figuring out how to handle, especially individuals that are fleeing those types of countries, and so I do think we need to have a way for people to get in. we've got to stop the illegal for me as a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have got to stop the illegal immigration.
Okay.
Because one, it's just, we use the word illegal for a reason. It's breaking law.
Okay. So you think it's Christian to say that people just cannot come in here?
I think it's the loving
into
thing,
your country.
right? The loving thing to do and I think you brought up a great point earlier about, it's not only how do we love them, it's how do we love our own people, right?
Okay.
And so the loving thing for our own people is to ensure that the people that are coming in are vetted. Like,
okay.
we should know who's coming into this country. We should have to find out later on, oh, by the way, they were once in jail in their own country for sexual assault, right? Like, we should have to find out that way, because most of the people coming in aren't criminals. Okay.
Okay.
And so I don't want to label everyone like.
I thought they were all criminals.
No.
Every single one of them. I thought everyone everywhere in the world besides America was criminals.
Is that what you were taught growing up?
That's what I was taught.
Everybody.
That's what I saw.
That's everybody.
That's what I saw it on television.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. I'm hoping we get a better global picture or a better picture of the world. Mm-hmm. No, not everyone's a criminal besides us.
All right. Well.
Yeah. All right.
Learn something new every day.
There you go. Oh Lord. And so, so I think that, we look at the immigrants and yes, we have mercy and compassion on them, but we have mercy and compassion in our own country as well. And so as a Christian, I'm for closed borders. Okay.
No matter how we choose to do that.
If we need to build a wall, build a wall.
Okay.
Okay. I think
what about snipers on top of the wall?
No, we don't need snipers on top of the wall.
Okay.
You don't have to just kill them. You can capture them and just take them back, right? So, I'm
just trying to figure out the Christian line here.
I know you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
how violent can we get on the southern border?
I don't think violence is the answer.
All right.
I do think that stopping illegal immigration actually allows for, our country is so overwhelmed with illegal immigrants and trying to figure out how to deal with them. We can't even begin to really process well those that are actually wanting to come in this country to offer something good and valid, or just to come and make a better life for themselves.
Okay.
Like, I don't begrudge anyone who genuinely wants to come to America to make a better life for themselves. Like, I don't begrudge anyone for that.
Yeah.
But we can't just take everybody who says that's the reason we're wanting to come. Like, we need to know who they are. They need to be vetted. Like, there's a way to do this. And so, so I think that for me, that's what I guess I would like to see. And for those that are already here, we have to be merciful. But I don't think the answer is to allow them to live off of government funds either.
Because we have to be merciful to our own people.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. We're already, and we've done this to ourselves in regards to our own national debt.
And this is how you think, like, because we're talking about this in a time when it's a big issue.
Sure.
I think it's the number 2 issue in the
country. Yeah, probably so, especially leading up to the election.
Number 1.
Yeah.
And so, but you're saying all of these principles forever.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All of these I can take with me to
right. And I understand
to whichever country I am a citizen of.
Yeah. Yes, because the country has a responsibility to take care of her own citizens.
Okay.
That is actually our government's, the government's greatest responsibility is to care for our own citizens.
Are there Bible verses in the Bible that say that government should do that?
Well, for me, just even going back to that Romans 13 passage that we read earlier, that the idea of government is to, hey, if there's individuals have bad conduct or that are breaking law, the government has the power to do something about that.
Okay.
And so I think that is, for me, the issue. Like, so if the government is protecting us, is there to serve us, like it says in Romans 13, is there to be a servant for us, then I think that's the perspective we need to have of it, and that the government's role is to protect the citizens. Part of that is to know who's coming into the country at this point. And I understand, I get it. So many of our own ancestors came here as immigrants, right? And some legally, some not legally. I get that. And you go back to the earliest part, man, we just came and conquered, right? And so
hell yeah. Colonizer.
Oh, what a great reel that's going to be. Okay, so, oh God, and so I do think that there's a perspective. There's a way the way for Christians to be able to engage in this topic and engage in this issue with mercy and with justice. We need to have laws. If we find out, hey, there are illegal immigrants in here, I'm saying have mercy on them by not oppressing them, by not being abusive toward them. But hey, comes back that you have a criminal record. See ya.
Yeah.
I don't not because we're trying to be mean to you, but we're trying to be loving and caring for the rest of the citizenship.
Right.
And so I think that's to me like a no-brainer. And yeah. And so, and if you've been here for years and years and years, and you've been faithful, and you work, there's no criminal issue, all that stuff. Hey, let's give you a green card. And I don't know if but if you came here illegally, maybe we don't need to give you citizenship. Right. I think that can be a whole nother discussion, topic of who deserves to be a citizen, who doesn't deserve to be a citizen. If you came here illegally, should you ever become a citizen, or those kind of things. But I do think if you came here, you're already here, you've been here for years, you've raised your family here, hey, let's give you a green card, and, that way you're not labeled as an illegal anymore. Because there are a lot of illegal immigrants who've done amazing things here for our country. Great. But at this point, we're reaching a massive saturation point where we just can't keep letting people to come in, and we never should have allowed it to begin with.
It was just too many people too fast.
Absolutely. But it's been an ongoing, it was building. Yeah. It's been building. We never should have allowed it. We should have never allowed it to happen from jump. There always should have been a legal way for people to come into our country. I mean, there has been, but that should have been the only way, I guess, is what I'm saying. So,
well, we need to do an episode about conquest.
Okay.
At some point.
Yeah.
And whether all this colonizing and killing other nations for their land and all that stuff is good.
Yeah. And how do we look at that and view it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a fair topic.
Because we're all immigrants. And now we're talking about other ones.
Yes.
And I don't know if we're justified in doing this.
Well, I think the thing is now we are citizens. We are here. Yeah. And we have to find the best path from here forward.
Yeah.
And so therefore we need to lovingly close our border, allow for there to be a legal process for people to come and be citizens here in this country, or to migrate here. That's to be refugees here, to seek asylum here. All of those things need to be able to happen in proper channels. So.